All right. Let's move on and talk about this company here. People may not recognize the company because when you told me Block, and that's BLOCK, like who is Block? And it is
Square.
Square Block, maybe? Where did Block come from?
I think I remember a few years ago they changed from square to block because block was more encompassing. It's three-dimensional where square is on a flat plate. It is Jack Dorsey, the CEO there, that I think he's always trying to be outside the box.
Outside the box.
Yeah.
Outside the
Outside
block.
the square.
Outside the block. and I don't know how they got this symbol. I can't believe it was not
so
used.
funny.
XYZ. No one else had that, and they took XYZ.
Well, we always joke about it. It's like, we're looking at XYZ company here.
Yeah.
Don't go out and buy XYZ company. I didn't know there was an XYZ company.
We got to
but
be
now
careful.
we know.
Now. Maybe we'll say buy XYZ company going forward. But Block is in the software infrastructure industry. Only 2.9% shares float. We do see 73% is institutional owned. PE ratio. Now, this is a good start. What surprised me because I thought this was going to be a high flyer, but the PE ratio is 12.2. Well below the industry at 47.4, 0.6, I'm sorry. Price to sales 1.3 versus 9.4. Price to book value 1.4 versus 10.3. Price to cash flow is the only high one at 23.7 versus 26.7. But gosh, a great start here in the valuation ratios so far. Now, the earnings, and maybe things have turned for this company. Over the last year, their earnings are up 586%, well above the industry at 1.8%. Sales did climb only by 4.6%, slightly above the industry at 4.2%. They do not pay a dividend at this time. Maybe they will in the future. Look at the balance sheet. Nice current ratio, 2.3 versus 1.9. I like seeing this as well. Debt equity, only 0.3 versus 0.8. So a nice clean balance sheet you've got with Block. We do see a net profit margin, 10.9, which I think is pretty good, but the industry is at 21.8. So not sure why that is lower, but again, I'm not going to, say bad things about 11% profit margin. Return on equity is at 12.2, also below the industry at 30.2. We like about 15 or higher. Free cash flow is about 1.1 billion, where the industry is at 44 billion. So we do like free cash flow, something there, but let's talk about the company going forward.
Yeah, so current price, again, for Block, ticker symbol XYZ, $50.36. And you said, I thought this was a high flyer. It was. I mean, the 52-week high here, $99.26. Oh. But that doesn't even tell the full story. You go back to 2021, the stock hit an all-time high of $281.81 on August 5th, again, of 2021.
So this is, again, if you go back to Palantir, in the beginning of the show we talked about, here's another example.
Yeah, I mean, it's near its 52-week low now of 44.27. So, I mean, that hype has fizzled out. I remember Block years ago when it was Square. It's all exciting. It was fintech. That was a big thing.
Fintech.
And, things kind of come and go. And, maybe there's opportunity here because I go out to, I think they report on a calendar year. Let's just confirm that.
Wait, aren't you going to give the returns, past returns? Do you see them?
I'll let you give them since I already changed the page.
Yeah, I mean, year to date, down 41%. Yeah. Company's never made money. 5-year return, that's all they have, negative 32%. So it's never made money. So if you bought this initially, do you know when it came out, the stock?
I believe it came out in 2020 or something. 2009. Oh, it's confusing because obviously they changed from Square to Block.
Oh, okay. So that could be something.
Square was incorporated in 2009 and changed its name, it looks like, to Block in 2021.
Okay, so...
But I don't think the stock ever changed. So that stock information still goes back over history.
Okay. Yes.
And I can kind of pull it up.
But it only gave a 5-year return, didn't give a 10-year return on those numbers. So maybe the symbol changed as well. Maybe when we went to Block, they changed the symbol.
That is weird, yeah, because mine goes back to 2015.
Oh. Okay.
So if on Seeking Alpha, if I go back to 2015, the stock was around $12. So if you bought it way back when, you're still up, but definitely fizzled out from the peak.
Yeah.
But let's look at the numbers going forward here. As I said, maybe there's an opportunity. You go out to December 2026. I see estimated earnings per share of $4.05. Gives you a target sell price of $67.23. Estimated return here of about 33%. I mean, it's, I'm going to say, intriguing. And this business, I mean, I actually used a Square product for when I had my charity. I would use the little tapper, the insertion thing to kind of collect those mobile credit card payments. I thought it was a great company in terms of getting that done. And I was a very small scale, obviously, but you go to restaurants, you go to retail shops. I mean, you see the Square terminals pretty frequently, I would say.
Do they do anything else? Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of interesting, actually. They got a long laundry list here. They have banking services. They also have, I was kind of surprised by this, payroll services, marketing, gift cards. They also then have the Cash App, which is kind of like a competitor to Venmo. I don't really know anybody that uses Cash App personally. Most people I know use this Venmo. I used it, I remember, gosh, probably 5-6 years ago.
Right.
Actually, maybe even longer, but never used it then. But that actually includes peer-to-peer payments, obviously, Bitcoin and stock investment brokerage, tax preparation services. I was kind of surprised by that. And then this is another big one. I didn't know this, but they bought this company called Afterpay, which is a buy now, pay later service in January 2022 for, where's this number here? Gosh, $29 billion.
That's a lot of money. And I do worry about that industry because fine during the economy doing well, you got to slow down the economy. People are like, oh, sorry, I just can't pay it. And there's some issues with that. So I like the company. And I know Square is pretty big. Competitors?
I mean, the big one is going to be PayPal.
Yeah.
Big one's going to be PayPal. And then also, too, I mean, with the payments, it's not really a competitor with Apple Pay, I think, as much. I guess the buy now, pay later is. But I think they're more heavy on the merchant side. I think that's where a lot of the businesses come from. Just kind of based off visually looking, when you go to retail places, you see Square. I'm not sure how much comes from that. If a larger percent comes from collecting income from that portion of it, I'd be much more interested in this business. Yeah. I guess Toast is another one that would be a competitor in the restaurant space. But
yeah. I mean, I think there's something is here. And we always talk about when we invest in a company, there's a lot of research to do. 10, 15, 20 hours. It should take you weeks, not hours, before you make a decision on what to buy. I think you're right. There's something here, but I know we did have PayPal. We made some pretty good money off it, but we felt uncomfortable with it. Hit its target sell price. We did get out of it, but we just didn't understand. I didn't see people using PayPal. I do see people using Square.
More companies. Not people.
Well, right. I guess when you give the waiter your card, I think our car wash guy uses it as well. Give him the card and he swipes it through his phone. Yep. So I guess that's Square. Yep. So, I think it's worth the research. And it is a fintech company. Mm-hmm. I don't hear that term anymore.
I think it's because it's not as popular. Now everything's about AI, not fintech.
Oh, that's right. Well, maybe there's an AI fintech company.
I'm sure there is.
So I guess what we're saying here is that, look at it. We're not saying it's a buy. There is potential here. Yeah. But
I don't think we'll ever outright give you a buy on the show because of the amount of research it requires. But I'm going to say definitely worth more research.
Yes.